It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stand.
And don't forget you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin with a stomach that's rumbling and churning tonight, man.
Come on, buddy, we got to make it to the show for the fans.
It's rough right now, so I'm going to do my best to get through this hour and entertain y'all. Hopefully we'll
absolutely
have something good to talk about tonight. At least I know you do, but it's been a long week for me, and we are still rocking, but hopefully things are going to get better for me here starting this week.
Oh, they will.
So, hey, Patrick, what's going on, my man? Thanks for joining in tonight. So those of you on the podcast, we're just saying hello to a few of our loyal followers over on the Facebook page that are watching the live stream. If you guys do not watch our show on the live stream every Sunday night, you're missing out.
I'm hoping Mr. Howard turns in from Ohio.
Why's that?
Because I saw one of his Facebook posts, and
okay.
I was afraid for him because he got one of those phone calls that said he's being sought after.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So he was afraid he was going to get taken. So if he shows up, that means he didn't get taken into custody.
Yeah.
Now just make sure that pop-up on that window doesn't mess us up over there.
Yeah, let me take care of that real quick. Here, we'll get rid of that as well before we move along here too far. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, I had one of those one time and proceeded to tell the guy to come get me. And
that's what he kind of said. He was going to sit in his garage and wait for him.
Yeah, I was like, you know where I live? Come get me, dude. Of course, I didn't say it that politely, but
right.
He's like, oh, this is very serious. And I'm like, yeah, it's serious. I'm serious, too. Come get me.
Right, exactly. So,
oh, man.
Patrick Cloyd.
So, what is the good word, man? Let's just jump into this tonight, man.
You know what? I tell you what,
You took off.
Not happy to be back. How's that?
Yeah, you took off up north.
I finally got to go up.
I got a text from you on, was it Wednesday you left?
Wednesday I left.
I got a text. I hit you up and said, hey, you in Mackinac Bridge yet? And you're like, no, I'm in Gaylord. And then it wasn't about less than an hour later, I got a picture from you crossing the bridge.
Yep, that's right. And
how was that storm?
It was... So we started out exactly on time, 5 o'clock. We were on the road. Mm-hmm. Just had to get past Laring Road here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But other than that, we did great all the way up to the bridge. We saw that weather was coming across the UP. It was red. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm red too, but the storms were red.
That was bad.
We started heading west. We started heading. It was between the bridge and Manistee. It started to come at us. We started to see lightning and the rain, and then at one point from basically from just before Manistee to Escanaba, basically we had spots of where I needed to use the rumble strips to know where I was in the lane.
Nice.
No, it's not nice, but we got
pulled
through
over
it.
at that point.
Well, I wanted to get there. It's my mission. I just slowed down, comfortable speed, let the wipers try to catch up, which sometimes they didn't. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, the weather was something. And my cousins were already at the cabin, and they said, yeah, it came through pretty bad.
Okay.
So by the time I get there, we kind of drove through it, and we got in about 1:30. Right on time, just what I thought we'd roll in. Okay. And got everything unpacked, got the old fire going, fired up in the cabin, got the cabin warm. It wasn't too bad weather-wise after that point. Power did go out a couple times, but...
hey, that's up north, man.
Right, exactly. So the plan was to get up the next day, go set some blinds. I needed to finish work on the tower blind I was working on. So the next day we were out, sun shining and everything. It was just... the colors are starting to pop up there. This right here, the picture you're seeing is one of my fields that I'm working on. This is on top of a hill. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a T shape, so you're kind of looking down the long side of it.
Okay.
And the sun was out. It was popping. It was just a a gorgeous day compared to what we just drove through the night before.
Right.
But we got out there in the morning. Took our hunt. Actually, we filled up our coffee mugs with Hunter's Blend. Headed out to the woods to set some stands. It was. I
wish I had some tonight, but I'm staying away from the coffee.
Yeah,
man. My stomach is just not.
Well, you had some earlier, so it was.
I did.
It was.
I got an empty cup sitting here tonight on the stand.
Yeah, but we were able to get out there, set some stands. I needed to finish up a tower blind that I wanted to finish, and finally we got it completed. I bought some of that roofing weather stuff to put on top of it, just to help protect the deck more.
Yeah, this thing here, it looks like Taj Mahal here.
I'm working on it. It's getting there.
Are you going to put a box blind up there, or is this just for pop-up blinds?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm seriously considering what to do here. I just might leave it a pop-up blind thing. Okay. I'm not sure, though.
All right.
This is a spot we've been working on for the last few years, and this is the spot where I got the 2 8 points. So right now, you can see here that we were able to finish it. I needed to finish it up from Labor Day, and it's all set, ready to go. The blind's up. Everything's ready, and it's just a matter of I didn't hunt out of it purposely this trip because I knew I was going to be in there working. So it's all set. Blind's up. I used some fasteners to get it down, and that way I didn't know how to fasten the blind to the deck.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you.
So my first thought was D-rings, which it started out, okay, yeah, that'll make sense. But then because of the strap on the pop-up blind would lift a little bit, it was tighter just to use the without the D-ring. So I did that. I zip-tied the blind down, and right there you got what it's going to look like to Mr. Deer.
Or bear.
Or bear.
Or wolf.
Or wolf. Or coyote. But it's all ready to go. We cleaned out. I had a ladder with me. There's a ladder there, but I also had another aluminum ladder with me.
Right.
So Gabby went up with me, and she was up there, and she was kind of directing me as to what to cut, what not to cut, and that looks good. So we did some trimming. We got our lanes cut for that blind. But, we got that done. We did a little bit Thursday, a little bit Friday, finished up on Saturday. It was all done. But it's all ready to go for November. So I'm quite happy we got it out there. Next one that I build, I'll definitely have a better footprint of what to do and what not to do.
All right.
So, it's ready to go. I'm excited about that, Stan. So
I tell you what, let's go ahead. Let's take our first break. We're going to step outside a little bit early here. I don't know how long we're going to be able to run here tonight, but I need to take a quick little break for a second here. So
no problem.
We're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Sweating profusely, we are back. I am roasting in the cabin tonight with a window open here. I think it's whatever I've got going on, it's working through me, so to speak.
It literally. So, yes, like I said, got the blinds done.
So then it's time to hunt.
Well,
not yet.
Yeah, no, we set up the blinds and everything, and the weather was nice. So we finally got to hunt about 3:00.
Okay, and that was when the weather, or when the sun was shining and everything?
The weather was, it was, gosh, I think I wanted to say it was like 48 when they said we went out.
Okay.
On the radio, 48, sunny, sun was coming down. The blinds were going to be a little warm, which, okay, I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. So I made my way. Gabby went to one blind. I went to another blind, and proceeded to get comfortable and sit down. And lo and behold, I was there total of about 15 minutes when I noticed a video. I'm watching the video feed.
I was wondering what you're doing. You got distracted there for a second.
I did. So anyways, I get in my blind. I was kind of warm, so I didn't have my big jacket on. I put my bow over in the corner. I got my binoculars out. I put my release on the bow, and I'm just sitting there, and I just get comfortable, and I'm just watching kind of closing my eyes, just kind of getting into the hunt because I've only been there maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
And so I kind of look out the one window, and all of a sudden I see a doe kind of slip to my right, and I'm like, wow. So I look to my left, and there's a deer because we're allowed to use bait. I had some corn and apples out there and sugar beets. I look, and there's a deer on the bait pile, and I instantly saw the rack that was there, and I knew exactly which one it was. I was like, oh, I know which one you are. And he's one of our, what we classified as probably the 3 shooters on camera that we have.
Okay.
So here I am, totally flat-footed, blind. The bow's over in the corner, deer's over there, and I'm like, okay, now I got to make this work. So I did everything. I grabbed the binoculars. I verified that he was one that I wanted to shoot. I said, okay, you're one of them that I want to shoot. So I reach over, grab my bow. I think having a little bit of wind at this point in time was good.
Was it in your face?
It was coming from my left to right. And
he's out in front of you.
Yeah, so he was, he had no clue I was there. I was using a ground blind, and I used a lot of the ferns to brush them in. Mm-hmm. That's what we normally do, is we brush them in as best as we can. We kind of put them like into a clump. Mm-hmm. So we got there, and we wasn't paying no attention. I was able to get my bow over, and then I'm like, okay. I pull back, I get ready, and at that point in time, a doe walked right in front of him.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
As you're drawing back?
As I was in full draw, I'm looking through my sight at him, and then all of a sudden, I seen the doe come walking through. And I just held it. I'm like, well, I got to wait now.
She's ready to take an arrow for him.
That was it, really, literally. I was anchored. I was everything. I had him lined up, and then all of a sudden, you see this doe head come in. And I'm like, okay, so wait. And as soon as she cleared him to give me a shot at the vitals, he was kind of quartering away.
You're still at full draw at this time.
I'm still at full draw.
All right.
And I'm like, all right, way back behind the shoulder, kind of aiming for the opposite shoulder, quartering away. I let that go, and as soon as I let it go, for whatever reason, they both went forward. And that arrow hit him. It hit him back in the hip, and I heard it. It was just like a big smack.
In the hip?
Yeah, because he moved forward on me as I shot.
You shot him in the hip?
I did, or otherwise known as the buttocks.
You shot him in the butt?
I did. I literally shot him in the butt, and it was just one of those things that been there, done that, and I'm like, like, all right. It hit him hard. I watched him take off, tail down, and he headed for a popple thicket, which is kind of the edge of another field that we're working on.
Okay.
But it's surrounded by thick popples now, right? They're 3 to 6 feet tall.
Right.
So I kind of marked where he was going in. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, okay, I shot him far back. All right, what do I do? Well, I'm going to give him a couple minutes. I said, you know what? Let me go find some blood to make sure where I saw he was going and start that. And I'm like, there probably isn't going to be much blood. But I was able to find some blood. And I went about 30 yards. I'm like, okay. And I looked up, and I could see the edge of I was about 15 yards from the edge of which would be the start of the thick stuff.
Did the arrow pass through him?
No.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? All right, I'm just going to track him to the edge of this thick stuff, and then I'll probably end up getting help. And I went about 15 more yards. I'm standing right on the edge of the thick stuff. I'm looking, and I look to my right, and there he is.
Laying there dead.
On his feet, just right there. I'm like, really?
That easy. So when you field dressed, did you find out where you hit him at?
I clipped that rear artery.
That's what I was getting ready to say. You probably clipped that artery.
Because he didn't bleed much outside.
Okay.
But when I opened him up, he was loaded. So he was basically, when I hit him, I was using a 2-blade at the time. Actually, it's an old blade that I had. It was from Aftershock. And it just clipped that artery. It ended up probably sticking in the other hindquarter because I pulled it out real easy.
Okay.
My blades were messed up. But, yeah, he was expired in 40 yards.
Wow.
And, wow was a...
Wow, that's pretty quick.
So just goes to show you, and we've done that before. We've hit a couple other deer further back, and as long as you clip that artery, they don't go far. Mm-hmm. And I texted Gabby, and Gabby, second year hunting, she's never seen a deer gutted. She's a paramedic, so she works on people guts. So I texted her, I said, hey, you seen anything? Nope. I said, hey, you want to learn how to gut a deer? She's like, did you get one? I said, yep. So I was out there a total of about 15 minutes, and then I shot my deer.
That's pretty quick.
I beat Kelly last year. So we just... we got it back to the cabin, and we took some pictures, and
we're going to have to throw to a break. I'm going to have to step out.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back, third segment, and boy, do I feel better.
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel better.
That was a quick exit.
Right.
I think it was something I eat this morning.
I think it was something you did on that roof of the house you were working on.
Could have been. I didn't mean to cut that segment short in your whole experience there, but you shot a deer. It ran 40 yards and dropped.
Yeah, it did. And then we were able, and Gabby was able to
learn how to gut a deer.
It was an experience. I took it back to the camp, and we were able to take our time and walk through it, and this is that, and there I am. Shout out to Tim Cius. I did spray the blind down in his earth scent after I set it up and everything. I had it all set. I just sprayed everywhere with the earth scent.
All right.
And I sprayed actually when I got out there again too. I sprayed my boots and
gotcha.
So it was a good deal. But yeah, that was day one. Well, actually 15 minutes of day one.
15 minutes in, you already got a buck on the ground.
I do. And I was all right with that because I knew kind of going into this that I wanted more for Gabby to get a deer than I did.
Right.
So, anyways, going into the next day, that sunny picture you saw there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
it changed.
It changed.
Oh, that's right. You did send me another picture, didn't you?
Yeah. So this was the next morning.
Nice.
Good old Michigan UP weather.
Right.
I had fall one day and winter the next.
That's crazy.
So, but it was cool. It started off as rain in the middle of the night because we heard it hitting the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But then it started to change. You could tell it. Here is like, uh-oh, something's up. Sure enough, looked at the grass. It was turning white.
That's crazy.
And we got some camera photos of that kind of happening. And so we went out Friday morning, and here we are. Got snow on the ground, hunting. It was kind of a slow morning at this stand. I'm not sure exactly. I sat with Gabby. We headed out. Wanted to sit with her. I had the camera with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a slow morning. Just two does came in, and then that was it. It was just quiet.
You think it's because the weather changed?
I think the weather change had them down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But give them some time. Things start happening. They'll start moving again. It's just a little shock to the system, I think.
How long did this snow last?
Actually, it lasted on the ground.
Well, did it keep snowing that day?
No, it was done by morning. It was having a hard time because the temperature was about 32, 33. So it would start out as like a sleet and then go to like a big flake snow, back to sleet. And then it sounded like because you can see we're in the maples here, and you can see here that it sounded like it was pouring.
Okay.
And then when we walked out to the road, it wasn't doing anything. So a lot of water was still on the leaves coming down.
I gotcha.
So it was melting. So.
I gotcha.
But yeah, that was just the
one day then.
Yep, just a one day thing, and on and off all day. So
there's a lot of people on Facebook this day that it did this, and they were posting pictures from the UP, about the snow coming and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody was down here was getting all giddy about it. I think that I'm trying to remember. That was what, Thursday?
Yeah, no, it's Friday morning.
Friday morning. I know it was kind of chilly here one of those mornings. I can't remember which day it was, but it was, down around 40, 45 degrees. And I walked out and I was like, whoa, it's a little chilly out. So
yeah, it was definitely chilly. It was 33 degrees, 32 degrees when we went out.
Yeah.
And it was nice though. It was refreshing.
Kind of going back to your deer here. Here's another picture of it. You and I, we've talked a lot about, the difference up where you hunt versus down where I hunt in the lower. You said you took how many deer that week?
So this week there was 4 hunters.
Okay.
And we took 4 bucks.
Okay.
We took 3 8-points, and mine here is more of a 7 than an 8.
Okay.
And those 3 bucks we did have on camera, I think.
Okay.
The other buck was taken. They went up on the other road up onto federal land.
Okay.
And we're hunting up there by the river.
Okay.
And they were able, my cousin Denny, he got 2 bucks this week. He got 2 8-pointers, one off the property and one north of the property.
Okay.
My buck and Gabby's buck both came off the property. Actually, we took a buck off of 3 different 40s.
Okay.
So all 3 bucks we got pretty much on camera. The buck I shot was right in the field on camera. The buck she shot, I think, is the buck we had on camera from early velvet, and I think I saw him when I was up there in July.
Okay.
He looked exactly the same, but I'm not sure. But we definitely were excited to see some things on the camera and able to get them.
Okay, look at what y'all took off the place there. I mean, age structure. What were you guys looking at?
So age structure, we're looking at these bucks. Pretty much looking at them. I'm confident that 2 of the 8-points were 2.5s.
Okay.
This one that I shot, this 7-point, was a big bodied deer, and I'm kind of struggling with it being 2.5 to 3.5. Mm-hmm. I laid him next to Gabby's 8-point, and just the chest itself was just, you can see the difference in body. And the neck, and all the necks were small, so there was no rutting action.
Yeah, it's still way too early.
Yeah, so it wasn't like the neck was puffed up or nothing, but Gabby's neck and Denny's neck on hers was really skinny.
Okay.
The one he got yesterday morning was a nice size 8 9-pointer. Kind of interesting that the last 2 tines kind of only went about an inch for him. It was real weird, just on the one side. So they, it was good to get some bucks off the property that we actually got on camera. That was kind of nice. So then, naturally, the question is, okay, what do we shoot them all? Well, the ones that we got on camera that we did shoot, we got them. Mm-hmm. But we know with the rut coming that we're gonna have some passer-throughs. Right. I checked the cameras up there. For next year, we do have another 6-point that's out there. There's a nice 4-point slight 5 that hopefully he makes it. He'll be good next year. Those are probably 2.5-year-old deer. The 6-point definitely I'm going to say is 2.5.
Really?
Yeah, that fits their profile up there.
Okay.
Now we're going to get these deer back. I'm going to get the skulls. I'm going to try to get them aged.
Okay.
To verify.
Okay.
I'd like to get I still got another skull from last year. I keep forgetting to take up to the biologist and say, here.
Right. And you're not allowed to shoot does up there.
We are not allowed to shoot any does. And in a good way, in a bad way. Okay. The DNR says that we're down. We're don't have the deer population to shoot does. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we have a lot of does? Yes. Is there some does that we probably should be taking? Probably, because when I was sitting with Gabby Friday morning, a young doe came in with a fawn. Mm-hmm. It was a buck fawn. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, that
fits the MO of what we've all been talking
about.
Yep,
exactly. Yep. And I had the binoculars and looking, and sure enough, it was just one of those things that, and I've seen a couple other does that had nice, huge heads, and is like, that'd be a perfect one to take.
Right.
But we can't.
Right.
So, looking through the cameras, pictures that we do have, the buck to doe ratio is probably a little off because I did see a really small, no spots, but it was pretty small. So we talked about the different ruts.
Right.
So obviously that was probably a late rut.
Right.
So that kind of tells you your doe population's a little out of whack still. Mm-hmm. So
gotcha.
We do what we can. What we can do. So basically what I'm trying to do now is get the fields up there, get them food. I planted those apple trees.
Right.
Just trying to get the food for the deer so when they come to this winter that they don't get stressed or they have something to get to. They nipped one of the tops of my apple trees off.
I thought you had those protected.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Guess somebody can stretch their neck a little bit. Snap the top right off.
Yeah.
But a lot of the bottom is still there, so I think it'll be okay. We'll see.
All right.
It's all you can do. I can't unless I get an electric fence or something and start zapping them. But
putting the juice to them a little bit.
Right, exactly. So we're trying our best, man. We're planting. We're trying to get some food for them. We did the recut thing. We're hoping that and all the deer that when we gutted them, they're looked real healthy, lots of fat.
Good.
So they're definitely getting their food.
That's good.
Yeah,
okay.
it was good. I'm quite happy seeing the progression of the deer that we're seeing the young deer. We've got a boatload of spikes.
Yeah.
There's a 3-pointer, a 4-pointer that's a really nice. The 6-pointer that's still around. He showed right up after I got mine in that same spot.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gone an hour, I don't think, and he came in. So he's in the area. So hopefully there's a potential that he might get taken. It's within the law.
Any other bucks in the area taken? Have you talked to your landowners? Have you made that jump yet, talking to other landowners?
Well, the one buck owner, a lot of them, they don't bow hunt as much. The one, we didn't hear anything from coming down the road. We didn't hear from them. We had our local guy in a truck go past the property several times a day.
Mm.
So I'm sure he's hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really talked to any landowners. That one landowner we tried to talk to told us to go back to our own land. So
yeah, he's a real nice guy. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Wants to help the whole area out, I see.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He is a trip.
That makes it tough when if you're trying to do anything at all. So
right, and it just you deal with what you have and what you have around you.
Right. Yeah, looking at a couple of comments here. Yeah, Ron. Yeah, give me a B12 shot. I need one, man. Sick? Yeah. You could say I was sick when I stepped out, man. I don't know if it's something I ate or what, but yeah, I had to we had to stop the show for just a minute while I went and purged just a little bit. So, but I feel better.
I was able to carry on, and
I heard
Charles Byram, he gave me a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
I see he posted a picture of he got a tree saddle.
I saw a post where he had a box. I figured that's what that was.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah, definitely, Charles. When you get that thing rigged up and get in it, I would love to be able to maybe
you
even
ever try
talk
one?
to. No, the first time I seen one, I was blown away because I just watched the guy. I was at a trade show and this guy spinning around on a pole like a lumberjack, and I'm like, wow, that looks cool. And I've talked to a few people that use them. I talked to John Eberhardt last year at the Novi show.
Oh,
he was down there. I talked to him.
Outdoor
Outdoorama was going. Actually, I wanted to get him on the show. Just we've never made that connection yet. And he's big into the tree saddle. I talked to a guy that was in the booth with him that works on developing them and trying to further that product along a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I'd really like to learn a lot more about them. I'd like to talk to some people who used them. So yeah, Charles, you get up in the tree on that thing this year. I'd love to be able to get you on and talk to you a little bit about how those things work out. So
Ron Moses says you look like death.
I feel better than I did about 30 minutes ago. I can tell you that. But yeah, no color. I can tell you that right now. But that's why the coffee cup is empty tonight. But it's
mine was full, now empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
better,
it was good. It was then we got to Friday afternoon when Gabby got hers.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's see. Yeah, we got a few more minutes here. We can still chat a little more. So
what other pictures you got there?
Kind of going back to your buck here.
Yeah.
So you had a 40-yard track. When you shot this, did you see where the arrow hit? Did you automatically know?
Yep.
Pretty much.
I saw it plain as day.
And you're like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, oh no. At first I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, hold on, wait a second. I think I might have clipped that. I had an inkling of hope that I did clip that artery.
Are you shooting the ferocity there?
I am shooting the ferocity.
That's what I thought. You're not shooting the Evolve 31.
Nope.
Then. Okay.
Shot. PSE gave me the ferocity to use this year for hunting, and I practiced with it. Got it out there, and using the Carbon Express Mayhem SDs.
Okay.
And I tell you what, that combination, like I said about the broadhead, I was using an old broadhead by Aftershock.
Okay.
Company years ago that was based, I think, right down here in Brighton.
Yeah, I think so. They were close by.
Yeah, and then I think they went out of business or got sold. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I love their broadhead, and I just had them.
Right.
So,
well, looking at the setup you got there, you've got a stabilizer on the front. You did when we were target shooting earlier this year. You didn't run a front bar and back bar, did you?
Yes, on the.
Did you?
Yes, when I used the Barney bow, the 35,
the 35,
I had a front and side bar.
Okay. Why did you not opt to use it on your hunting?
Because I like the smaller setup for being in a blind. less.
Okay, just wondered.
Less thinking of that noise that could, if I hit something with
Yeah.
it, or this way. That ferocity. One thing nice about it is it's so compact to fit in the blind. I that's what I was going with, the compactness, and it was just awesome just to be able to swing it around in the blind, and I didn't have to worry about a big stabilizer or something out the side. I just got it. That bow feels nice when you're at anchor point. That's one thing I found out about that, and it's a great bow. It's a mainline bow. It's not a pro line bow. So
Right.
It's out in your big box stores right now.
Cabela's Bass Pro.
Yeah.
You can pick one of them up. Yeah, I just wondered, I couldn't remember if you were using a front and back bar. And I'm going to run that on my rig this year. I'm going to run that on the Evolve 31. I'm going to run the front and back bar on it. I've been shooting with it. Well, I showed the pictures last week, and the bow's shooting good. I'm pretty confident out to 50 yards with it right now. I don't know if I'd draw down on a buck at 50. I don't know. It'd have to be calm. The condition had to be right. That's a long throw.
It is. It's a long throw. And
How far was your shot here?
20 yards.
20 yards, okay.
Yep. I had the rangefinder, checked it. It was 20 yards, 21 maybe, where he was standing.
Right.
But it just, the combination all worked good. The arrow flew, like a dart, like I wanted it, and he moved. I saw him.
Yeah.
I just saw him take that step, and I'm like, really? But then when he started to take off, he didn't bound off, which was a sign to me his tail was down.
Yep.
I'm like, Then, of course, he was like, oh. But then I started thinking, wait a second.
Were you playing it through your mind?
Oh, yeah. I was playing the whole 15 scenarios through my mind.
Right. Gotcha.
And in about 5-10 minutes, I said, wait, let me go look for blood and get a track on this guy. And he was right there. Oh. And it was sunny out. And
well, playing all that back through your mind again and thinking about the shot and everything, how did the Stanislavski release work for you?
That thing, I tell you what, for me, it worked. First of all, I was able to hang it on my bow.
Clip it on.
Clipped it on, locked. That was the first thing I did. I set my bow up, got my arrow in. I put the release up. My whole rig was right there. That was nice. It was just, I didn't have to worry about it getting it up on my wrist or setting it down somewhere. Now I was sitting in a director's chair that had a little table. Yeah. And I didn't have to. Nope, it was all right there. So when I went to get my bow, when I picked it up and I brought it over, everything was ready to go. And I had my shooting glove on that I've been using. Okay. And it all went together. I was very confident in shooting. Okay. I was not, oh God, here we go. Nope. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, which pin I wanted. And even when that doe walked in, I think that might have actually helped me.
Because he was focused on her more.
Well, that and it gave me time not to just point and shoot. Right. It made me think. I had to wait. I said, hold on, let her get through my sight window.
Make sure you get the thumb off the
and that's what I was doing.
Off the spring.
I was like, okay. I was like, okay, she's cleared now. Let's go through it.
Are you running the spring on yours?
Yes.
On the trigger?
Yep.
Okay.
And the arrow didn't wobble. It hit him hard. I mean, you heard it. It was a big thud.
Smack.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So I was quite happy with the entire setup. My entire playing it back through my mind. The more I think about it, it's like, yeah, it worked out good. Mm-hmm. Did I hit him right? Yes. Did I hit him where I wanted to? No, but...
How far did the arrow drive in on him?
I think it went through and stuck in the other quarter, because when he was laying there and I pulled it out, it came out relatively easy. But I got, because of how it's set up, I don't know what you want to call them, the wings of the broadhead, it was a little tough, and I just kind of spun it and it pulled out. But, yeah, it easily went through one into the other one. It didn't go through them. So I think it just opened up and cut everything from entry all the way across to the other side.
Gotcha.
So it was nice.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what. Let's step outside here, and when we come back, we'll kind of wrap up the show here. We've got we can run the next segment a little longer as well. So we got Danny's deer on the ground. We'll talk a little more when we come back. We're going to step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. We'll run this one a little long here, so hopefully we got a little more to talk about.
Yeah, we got a little bit more to talk about.
So, getting back to your deer. So you said you got it back. You had Gabby come over. So did you field dress that deer? Or did you have her get in and field dress it, or how did that all work?
Okay,
out?
so
because you said she's a paramedic and
she was
excited to get inside that thing.
Okay, I'd never seen somebody excited like this. Okay,
uh-huh.
She wanted to. I said okay. So I said, well, let's take it back to camp. Let's get it out of the woods. We got the Ranger. Threw it in the back of the Ranger. Mm-hmm. Got it back to camp. Where I took the pictures is where we gutted it. I didn't leave the gut pile there. We packed that up and I took it somewhere else.
Good man. I was gonna ask you about that. What you guys are doing with them, just because of the coyotes and the other friendly little furry critters there.
Yeah, we get rid of them. We take them away, far away.
Yep.
We don't need 2 reasons. One of those guys, and I gutted one when we could take does years ago. Mm-hmm. It's over 10 years, I think now. I shot one in my stand. I watched it go fall. I went and gutted it. Next day, I came back hunting. That next day, those crows, ravens,
on it all day,
loud, all day on it, and we're just. I said, you know what, that ain't happening again.
Right?
They were just so. It was fun though because a bald eagle showed up.
Right.
And boy, did they get quiet.
Yeah. It's like, oh, big boy's here.
Right. He flew down. I went, whoa, that's a bald eagle. So after that point, and with the coyotes, I said, you know what, let's just gut them. We'll get the guts and we'll
be done with them.
Go take them somewhere.
Gotcha.
But so I said, okay, we're gonna gut this thing. I said, I kind of showed her where to gut it, what a gut hook's for, and then we got inside and went through we were from the diaphragm down, and then took care of all that business downstairs, and then we went up into the lungs, and I pulled the heart out for her, and she was really intrigued with that.
Did you eat it?
So I said she was playing with the heart, sticking her fingers in like a paramedic does, I guess. I don't know. So we saved it. We froze it. Because I told her, I said, now Mike's had this, and he said it's really good. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try it.
Okay.
I just wanted to get from you how you did it.
I didn't cook it.
I know, but you don't cook it very long because you cut it really thin, right?
Yeah, the guy who cut it and cooked it for us, sliced it real thin, like we're talking like maybe 1/4 inch thick. And
quarter-inch thick, okay.
I mean, cut it real thin and then washed it really good to get the blood out of it, obviously. And then, cut the little other parts out of it. Oh, when you cut that thing open, see if there's a heart bone in there. Remember the story we did here?
Yeah.
There's a little tiny calcium deposit inside those, and it's called I think it's a heart bone, or it's got a special name, but
okay.
Yeah, inside of a deer, it's real little. It's like smaller than my pinky nail.
Okay.
So look for that.
Either that or we're going to bite into it.
Right.
And then he just did it in oil, right?
Yeah, extra virgin olive oil. Just
okay.
Minute, done.
All right. So we're going to try it. We brought it home. I've never tried it. She's never tried it.
Okay.
We're going to try it.
All right.
I just needed to know from you how to cook it. I was like, I'll ask Mike again and just verify because
that's the way you did it.
It was simple. I said maybe we, if we want, we can add garlic or just whatever we want to come up with.
Right.
So we're gonna try it. So we brought it home.
All right.
So, but she got to see the lungs, and she was asking me, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to reach up and to grab the esophagus, and this is the hardest part, and this is where a small knife comes in handy, and so that worked out good. And I showed her how to do it, and she almost got to do another one, except I had to step in and take care of that one because when she got her buck the next day, it was getting towards dark, and I just wanted to
get the job done
because she shot it close to the cabin, and it ran. We had to track it. We found it. It was still alive. Now, you got to remember, this is her second year of hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Second. So everything was new to her. The tracking part, I showed her, okay, so here's blood. Oh, mark the last spot. Try to find circles, and we inched our way, and I knew where this guy was going. It's just he's gonna head for the deepest cover swamp,
right?
And at one point she goes, "Hey, are we in the swamp?" Because it's all wet. I said, "Yeah, we're in it." So then we came upon it. She saw it before I did. She said deer, and it was still alive. She goes, "Well, what do you do now?" I said, "Well, here's part you got to figure it out now.
Right.
So we waited about a half hour, and we had to take care of it. Now, he parked himself on our side of the creek.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you go across the creek, you go, and then you come up to the road, which is a high point. And sure enough, when we dispatched it, he had one last bolt in him, and he jumped across the darn creek. I'm like, really? But then he crashed, and I heard him, and then we heard him. Said, okay, he's done. But not knowing where to come in off the road to find this deer, I had to cross the creek, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And the water is high right now because of all the rain.
Right.
In some spots, you probably could walk across it, no big deal, but not at this point. So I found where some sticks kind of bunched up, and I gave her my cell phone, and I said, I'm going for it. And
Danny's going swimming.
I was getting across this creek no matter what. That was just, it was one of those things. So I got across it, found the deer. I said, okay, he's here. I said, go back to the cabin. I'm going to walk out to the road, and I'll meet you there. And sure enough, I came up. She came with the ranger. By now, it was 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, getting dark. And then I just stepped in, and I got in there, and I just said,
let's get it done.
Let's get it done. And actually, when I wasn't thinking about it as much, it went a lot better than it did before. So. Oh, okay. Ron Moses says razor blade slices for.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. So this deer to me looks a little taller. On the antler, maybe even just a little. I don't know. It's hard to tell from the photo, but he might be a little older.
He's younger.
Younger.
He's a younger, thin-necked. Definitely younger. The face, you could tell in the face.
Okay.
It's just my buck was a wider spread, about the same height, I guess. His is more of a straight up tight rack.
Yeah, but it looks taller. But this was a true 8-point.
Yeah, that's a true 8-point, and that was her first buck. And granted, it took us a while to find it and get it. It took us about 3 hours to track it, and then we gutted it, and then we dragged it to the bottom of this hill, which is at about a 45-degree incline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got the ranger and some rope, and I used the winch.
Well, that's what you bought it for, right?
That's right. So.
Well, and there's the ranger there in the back of the photo. So.
Yeah, that is a priceless vehicle for me so far. That's come in so much handy. It's ridiculous.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a good week. Got our first buck. My cousin Denny, he tagged out with 2/8. It was a good first week. Kind of unplanned. We all, my cousins, he went up on a whim because his work told him, you're going to take this week off if you want to, because we're going to be working in the shop area.
Right.
So it worked out good. The colors were nice to see. For the first week, it fit the bill for the UP because it went from warm to snow.
Within a day.
Yeah, within hours. It was crazy. A good deal. Excited. So I'm excited to see what November brings now.
Well, that's some beautiful color right there.
I tell you what, there was some nice color going on, and it's still, I don't think it's peaked out yet.
Well, and even in the snow photo there, you can still see the color. You know, it's
yeah.
I haven't been up to our place since what was it 3 weeks ago when I hung stands. So I'm getting fired up, getting ready, getting intrigued to go. I couldn't make it away this weekend. We had too much stuff left to do at work to get this system ready to launch next week. So I got stuck there, and I want to get up. I definitely need to get up north. So.
Yeah, you definitely do, because you know what? It was just so nice being out there, especially for me, having a first-timer, kind of teaching everything, how everything rolls,
right?
What we do, how we do it, showing her how to gut it.
Yeah.
She's been practicing with my daughter in the backyard the whole time. They've been shooting together, and my daughter couldn't go, so I said, well, you want to go, and we'll just get up there for a few days and
have at it.
Yeah, my daughter got her 6-point last year, her first one. Gabby got an 8-point this year, her first one. So it was good. It was really good.
Good deal. That's all good.
Yeah, it just goes to show.
So what'd you do with the deer? I mean, did you process them yourself, or you take them to the butcher shop?
What I did was I thought about it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to bring them back here down to the butcher shop. Again, playing the warm game.
Right.
And so I got in late. I got in late last night. I bagged them, threw them in ice. I put them in ice up there.
Okay.
In the back of the truck, I got some bags of ice, put it up into the cavity. Got them home, got more bags of ice, just kind of put them all over. The meat was still cool. So I have all confidence that the meat's all good.
Right.
Wrapped them in a tarp. We want to talk about interesting. Should have seen the ticks bailing off of them.
Really?
Holy moly. Mine, there was a tick like about that big.
Wow.
I mean, you had the little ones, the typical little ones. And then this guy was huge, and they were bailing off the Titanic. It was amazing.
Holding a house party.
Yeah, they were, and they were on the move. So just kind of we were watching ourselves constantly after that if we saw them.
Right.
Still this morning when we took them in, got them down there, and they were still trying to bail.
Interesting.
Yeah, so ticks were alive and well.
Now, step back just a little bit. Let's think about what the possibilities would have been if your area had been in a TBE quarantine area. You couldn't have brought that deer home.
Now, if
you'd have had to take care of it up there.
If we were in the CWD zone,
I'll make a comment on that in just a minute.
If we were in the TV zone, you are absolutely correct. We would not have been able to transport it unless we took it to a processor in the area, which we could have, or we would have deboned it ourselves.
And had to take care of it yourself.
Yep, absolutely. And I drove by the processor. I wanted to stop, but I didn't get a chance because he was closed by the time we left on Saturday. But I did want to stop in and ask him again. I wanted to see how... Because last year I did talk to him about the CWD thing because they were located over in Wisconsin,
right?
And basically he's terrified of it,
right?
So,
what would you have done? Let's just play that scenario.
Okay,
if that had been the case, what would you have done with the carcass afterwards?
So,
because there's no recommendation for what to do. There is, but it's not.
That's a very good question as to what we would do with it.
One.
What would we do with it? The only thing you can't put it in a dumpster because that would be illegally dumping on our part, right?
Unless you had a dumpster that you could put one in.
I guess the best thing would have been, if they would be open, would have been go to the DNR and say, okay,
what do we do with it?
What do we do with it?
Yeah.
That would probably be, now that you bring up the question, that's probably what the answer should be. Because truthfully, I guess I could go to the processor and say, hey, what do I do with the bones?
Yeah.
See what he does with his.
Right.
Right? But I'd definitely go to the DNR, which is not open on Saturday.
Right.
I guess you can make a phone. I'm not sure who would answer the phone on the weekend. But, yeah, it's a good question. What if we're in a CWD zone and you do a home processing thing?
Yeah.
And you got these bag of bones.
Well, I've asked the DNR specifically.
And the answer was?
Well, you can bury it 6 foot in the ground, which to me is not a viable option because who's going to dig a 6 foot hole? And especially if it's later in the season when the ground's froze. The other option is you can landfill it, but the problem is most people have already found out if you put a deer carcass in your garbage can and that they find it, if they see it, they're not going to take it. So then what do you do with it? I mean, they don't have. It's not a good option.
I'd like to know why it can't go to a landfill.
Why it can't? Because they're afraid of the same thing. They just don't want to deal with it, because in the CWD zones.
So this is a huge. Here we go.
Uh-oh, Danny's setting up. He's getting upright.
So this huge taboo thing.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to deal with it.
Yeah. They're uneducated.
I got an idea. Let's make it really gray.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there.
Right.
Because now that you think about it, if I remember, I think I might stop by the DNR station up in Crystal Falls and say, I know we don't have it here.
Yeah, but what if?
What if this turns into a CWD county?
Right.
What am I going to do with my bones?
Yeah. Yeah, because I live way below the bridge.
Yeah.
Down in southern Michigan.
Yep. And
it's an honest question, and I think they ought to have an honest answer for it. I really do. And that's the problem is they don't have an honest answer. Ron Moses says bag and throw in home trash. Well, that's what we're just talking about is the fact that a lot of local garbage collection agencies will not pick them up. I mean, if you put them in a bag and they find out, they won't pick it up. But I mean, there you go. If you put it in a black bag and bury it down the bottom of the can, that's one thing. But it needs to go to a landfill where it's going to get covered up and buried.
Never had a problem with carcasses being picked up as long as they were double bagged.
Yeah.
So think about that.
But even with that, okay, he makes a good point here. Ron made a great point about that. Never had a problem. Yeah, you can pass it off that way. But why is the onus on us as hunters to try to slip something past. It shouldn't be that way. The DNR needs to step forward and have a good, honest solution to this problem, because they don't want you transporting it. They don't want you moving it out of the county. And if you're hunting away from home, you need to have a viable option to be able to take care of that.
They should have literally...
They ought to have dump stations.
Exactly right. They do for turning in your heads, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Now why can't we have it for carcasses?
Well, what are they going to do with them?
Well, now that's a mighty fine question, isn't it?
You know, I'm just saying.
I know you're just saying, and this is
just saying. You know, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
We're playing the gray area.
Yeah,
it's the gray area of what if.
Yeah,
like up there, right? It's in Wisconsin. They're playing the what if game if it comes across the border. They got all the PSAs going on. Don't bring your bones back. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Oh, they did?
Oh, last year there was PSAs like you wouldn't believe about it.
Okay.
I haven't heard any this year so far, but then
it's early.
It's early.
Right.
Case of beer and don't say anything. Ron Moses says because the DNR dumped it on us.
Yeah.
It's going to cause people to be outlaws.
Well, that's my point, and that's why I have a big problem with this. You know, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. You can't do this. You can't move this. You know, you've got to do this
and shoot more things.
And we want you to shoot more of them. Okay, I'm okay with most of those rules. You know, I still have a problem with. Don't get me started.
So now you just told me to shoot more carcasses.
Yeah. So, but now what do I do with them? That's my whole point. Is the DNR needs to have.
I want to see you dig a 6 feet hole
in the middle of December.
I know digging a 6 foot hole in my area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to hit boulders.
Yeah. Well,
if I can get through the ground because it's going to be frozen.
Exactly. You know, and that's why I brought the question up. I don't mean to end the show on a bad note.
Well,
but they're honest questions for people, and there are counties. There's 13. Is it 13 or 16? There's 16 counties here in southern Michigan that are now having to deal with this.
In Quebec, Ron Moses and Quebec just had a confirmed CWD case.
Oh, that's news to me. I have not heard that.
I'd like to get more information on that because
let's see how Canada's handle it.
Either that or is it in a middle of nowhere? We don't have a case within hundreds of miles.
All of a sudden, we got a pinpoint.
We got 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah, we got.
Explain to me how it got there.
Yeah, well, it's because it's there, and they just haven't found it yet.
You don't find it if you're not testing for it.
Well, that's just it.
Don't get me started on that point.
Yep.
So you know what? It was a good
weekend.
It was a good weekend. Great opening weekend for bow season. Now I probably won't go back up till probably November.
Okay.
I think, unless I can sneak up there the last weekend in this October.
You just need to come to camp with me and help me shoot some does.
That might be a possibility. Next 2 weekends I'm booked. That's the thing. Who puts weddings in October?
People that don't hunt or watch football. Those are the two big things in October. If you don't, they're not hunters and they're not football fans. So.
Right.
Yeah, you just don't do that. Although I will say, Randy Duncan, friend of ours here locally, I believe his wedding anniversary is today.
Yes, it is.
So, and he's a hunter. So that was, I don't know what kind of planning that was on his part, but hey, it is what it is. But I want to wish a very happy anniversary to Randy and his wife. So, Charles Penrod, tag one down here in Ohio on opening weekend. Back in the woods tomorrow with traditional gear for my. I got to see the rest of the message here.
Yeah, read that one.
It won't open.
Okay, so
read the rest of it for me.
Charles Penrod, he tagged one down here in Ohio opening weekend.
Okay.
He's back in the woods tomorrow with his traditional gear for his buck.
Okay.
Have you heard of the law in Ohio now where you can only shoot one doe and one buck on public property? Also, no does can be killed past the last day of gun season in Ohio, even though archery season lasts until February.
So the only you can shoot in the late season are bucks.
That's kind of what it says. Interesting.
We'll
have to get on our Ohio friends down there.
Yeah, see what's going on with that. I've not heard that. Matt says his daughter Sophia is always down for doe patrol. Yeah, and I've seen her shoot too, so I know that she put a hurting on him.
So my brother's apologizing, but he's not the one getting married.
That's funny.
It takes some razzing. You'd get it.
That's it's funny. I mean, Ron's talking too about buddy of his announced their wedding next October. Why is it? We as hunters, it's like that's sacred time. It's sacred ground. You don't tread on that time of the year.
I got married in November.
Well, your wife hunts though.
But we planned it that way.
Yeah, well, there you go. But for non-hunting friends and family, it's like, almost like Ron's like, good luck with that. And I told my daughter when she got married, I said, if you have it in October, November, forget it because I won't be there. I said, you plan it in May, June, July, and August, somewhere in there. And I said, I can handle that. But other than that, forget it.
Hey, it worked out good. I got a buck, so I'm okay with it.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
Thanks.
Meat in the freezer.
Yep.
That's good.
I think that's the biggest one with a bow. Yep.
Very nice.
That's the biggest one with a bow. Yeah.
So, I can't wait to get up north. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I hope to get up next weekend, but don't know if I will. My work schedule's changed. I got a new shift, which I think will be to my advantage.
Good.
Same days, but just going in earlier and getting out earlier. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be almost a normal human being. So we'll see how that plays out. Other than that, not a lot else going on. I'm hoping my life kind of gets back in order here and quit working so much and get ready to get up north. I think right now my biggest focus is just getting in the zone, start shooting my bow more, and getting ready for archery season. So.
I tell you what, now looking back on it now, the whole with the stand release, definitely
improved your game.
Yeah, I think so. I
That's
really
good.
do. I shooting with Dan like we did, and him kind of giving us pointers here and there, and kind of it's just I think the stand release made a big difference this year.
Well, I know it helped me out tremendously. Shooting those couple archery tournaments that we shot, and then shooting the 3D stuff in the evenings a couple times. And plus here in the backyard, I've shot more this year than I think I've shot in the last 5 combined.
Absolutely.
Or maybe 10.
Last 2 years, I've been shooting a lot more, a lot more confidence out to a certain distance.
Yep.
Depending on which bow I got in my hands. This one, I was definitely good to 40.
Right.
And it was like, okay.
Right. And speaking of bows, if you guys didn't get a chance to catch last weekend's episode of the live stream or the podcast, we talked with Dan Yass at PSE Archery. He's the sales manager there, and talked about their new bows.
Yeah, the Evoke.
The new hunting lineup. There's like 5 different bows that we talked about. Like I said, I want to apologize a little bit about the audio. We had a bad Skype connection. You can get through it. It's watchable. There's just a little bit of hiss in that
you can understand everything.
Understand what's going on.
Yeah,
so.
and
go over and check it out. And just, you got to listen past that stuff. But that's what was going on there, was just a bad Skype connection.
Yeah, that's all it was. So. And you know what? Like we said, get out and try them.
Absolutely. Yep. Get out there and put one in your hand, just shoot it and figure out, if it's for you or not. That's all we can do. So
it's like test driving a car, folks.
Yep. And the only other thing I really got this week is I was just accepted into the Outdoor Writers America Association.
Cool.
So
congratulations.
I applied to that organization, and I know you are here real soon.
I'll apply probably this week. So
yeah, we got that going on, and we're going to see what that brings us. I'm hoping that there's going to be some things come out of that will
I'm hopefully new opportunities.
New opportunities, do a little more, maybe learn some things and move forward with what we're doing here. So I'm excited about that.
Can't get us more into trouble, can it?
I possibly can.
Okay, I'm good with that.
That's a possibility.
Because that would not be boring. That would be boring.
Yeah, like we can't get in trouble on our own.
Right, exactly. So,
trying to think. Oh, this week, it'll actually air next week, so not this week, but the following week. Keep an eye out. I'm doing a story at work on Hunters for the Hungry, about taking your deer. I mean, like at our camp, we're going to shoot does, try to thin our herd down, get our numbers correct. But with that, it's like you can only eat so much deer meat. You can only put so much in your freezer. So what do you do with it? Well, we're going to do a story on donating to Hunters for the Hungry. It's an organization that gives excess deer meat to the local food pantries and helps people in need. And so we're going to do a story on that. As soon as we get that to where I can post that on our page, I will. So that ought to be really cool. You got something.
Ron Moses says he needs an autograph from you now.
Why?
Because you're an Outdoor Writer Association.
Oh, okay, yeah, and it'll get that and two quarters to get you maybe half a cup of coffee.
And in your story, are you going to have places where hunters can drop off?
It's a local story, but for people here in Michigan,
okay.
I believe on the DNR's webpage there's a list of processors that they're working with, and the cool thing about it is you take your deer in, and you don't have to worry about paying the processing fee. They take care of it all and pass that on.
Matter of fact, I know They do that at the processor where I go to in Crystal Falls.
Okay.
A lot of the DNR, when they confiscate a deer, they bring him into him, and it goes into the local food bank.
Right. So it's not just the hunters that are doing this. You got local processors that are stepping to the plate as well and pitching it and doing the labor for free. So
right, exactly, cool. and that's one of the cool things about this. And like you said, or if you know somebody that needs some,
absolutely. Help out a family.
Absolutely. If you know a family in need, especially as we get into the Christmas time crunch here, and we start hearing things about people getting tight for Christmas, and if they need a meal or make it a Thanksgiving meal. You can eat anything for Thanksgiving. Just be thankful about it.
I shot 2 deer last year. That was the muzzleloader hunt.
Yep.
And we had a kid there from Indiana who didn't have a deer to take home, and I sent it home with him. And I tell you what, man, it really warms your heart when you're able to take and give to somebody, and see the excitement in their eyes.
It's one thing. And also when they do have one to take home. Like I talked to with Gabby, I said, "Okay, now what do you want to make with it?" Because I've showed them how to make jerky, I've showed them how to make sausage. So it's like, now you've got one, you can
do what you need to do with it.
Do it. Yeah. I got the equipment. Have at it.
Yeah.
So, but definitely. I know getting the new hunters involved, the needy people that if we have an extra deer, give it to them.
Well, I've got a little bit of deer burger left. And was it 2 years ago we did the sausage, or last year? Can't remember.
That's probably 2 years ago now.
Maybe we need to do another episode on that and burn up some more sausage and smoke it.
Definitely get your smoker going. Yeah. And actually, if you really wanted to, we could probably do it either do it 2 ways. We could do it in your smoker, and then we could do some in the oven and just compare them.
See what happens.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, why not?
So. Well, I tell you what, we're quickly running out of time here. We're busting out on a longer show than I thought. I made it through.
You did.
I made it through the show tonight. I had to make a quick pit stop, but and actually, your daughter sent a little meme here and asked when I had to make my pit stop, if I was on the potty. I was not sitting. It came back up. So. I don't mean to gross anybody out, but no, I like I said, man, I don't know what I eat. I know what I eat, but I don't know if it was bad food. I hope not, because the place I went to, I really love. I just think it was just a combination of a lot of things.
And I was
it
run definitely
down.
Could be, absolutely. But I'm glad you're back in the chair.
Yeah,
in one piece.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay.
Now you're feeling good. Now,
I feel better. I'm not saying I'm feeling 100%, but I definitely feel better. And my middle name's not Ralph anymore, so that's good.
There you go.
So.
But next week, I have a wedding, and I have a relative coming in from Belgium. It'd be good to see her. So I don't know how much outdoor activity I will be getting done, unless I'll be in fabulous Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm. You enjoy that.
I and the big game is Saturday night at 8 o'clock, prime time, right?
Oh, so you're gonna be trapped.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in and stay in.
Okay,
so,
all right.
I hope you get up north and
that's the plan. That's the plan. I'm hoping I'm going to start working up and getting everything loaded up and ready to go. And if not this weekend, hopefully the weekend after that, I'll be able to. But that's the plan anyway for right now. We'll see how it goes.
And Ron, if you can get us that link to that story for Quebec.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because I'm sure we'll have some comments about that next week. I see on Facebook the Thumb area guys, man, they look like they're shooting some nice bucks up there.
Okay, and then they're working on trying to get APRs up there as well.
Yep, so we're going to work on trying to get them on the show here. It's going to be tough getting them when they're not out in the woods. It's a tough time to get people lined up.
It is this time of year. We got a couple people that we want to talk to still.
Yeah,
so.
And it's tough, but we'll get it done, and we'll be back here next week, right?
That's the plan. Yeah, if good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise.
They were rising in the UP, I'll tell you that much. They are up. Oh, a lot of water.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for us this week on the podcast. We'll be back again next week. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on GoodTalkRadio.com. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stands.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.